For 30 years, Johnny Carson ruled late-night television. From behind his desk at The Tonight Show, he wasn't just America's bedtime companion, he was the gatekeeper of stardom. One appearance could make a career. One laugh from Johnny could crown you a legend. Pointed, but never bitter. He could roast a senator without leaving a scar, tease Johnny without undermining him, kid about fame while still admitting he loved it. That balance mattered to Carson, who wanted The Tonight Show to feel like a place families could share together, funny or talented or famous, but who reached something deeper inside Johnny himself. They made him laugh when no one else could. They reminded him of why he had chosen this life in the first place, and in the rarest of moments, they even made him cry. He never admitted it publicly, but he composed and measured, would relax in his chair the moment Lucy entered, his shoulders dropping, his eyes brightening. She wasn't just another guest hoping to charm the host. She was a force of nature who took over the room before she even spoke. Her laugh alone, full-bodied, booming, and just a little... Lucy turned the stage into her playground. She would balance on the edge of the cables, wink at the cue card guy, or perform a pratfall so sharp the boom operator nearly dropped his mic. Cameras might not be rolling, but Lucy believed the show never stopped. If there was a heartbeat in the room, and in the next, she'd tumble into physical comedy so flawless that Johnny's prepared questions would evaporate on his tongue. He didn't mind. He let her lead, happy to be the rhythm section while she played the solo. With Lucy, interviews felt less like conversation and more like jazz. Johnny would lay down the beat, and she would riff until the walls shook. What made her presence unforgettable wasn't just her talent, it was her care. After tapings, Lucy stayed behind. She learned the names of the crew. She thanked the lighting technicians for making a redhead look human. She told the stage manager he ran a tighter ship than any Hollywood director she'd ever worked with. She signed napkins for interns and encouraged a nervous researcher to try stand-up just once. Johnny noticed. He respected it even if he never said it aloud. For Carson, Lucy was more than a guest. She was the reminder of what live television could be when it was messy, dangerous, and joyous all at once. She made him lose control, and for Johnny Carson, that was the greatest gift of all. When she left the stage, her hair blazing under the lights, the mischief still crackling in the air, John to the stage manager. No wasted performance, no forced charm. He saved the magic for the stage, and when it arrived, it felt inevitable. Johnny admitted privately that whenever he slowed his own delivery, whenever he let a laugh breathe longer than usual, he was tipping his hat to Jack Benny. It wasn't imitation, it was reverence, because Benny showed him that if you respect the audience, you give them time. And if you master that time, you can own the laugh without ever raising your voice. On those nights, Carson wasn't just hosting a show. He was honoring a man who had turned. There was an audience to entertain. Carson admired that philosophy because it reminded him of his own early days in comedy, when laughter meant more than format, when survival depended on instinct. On air, she was pure electricity. One moment, she'd tell a story about a disastrous rehearsal, and reckless was enough to derail Johnny's carefully planned rhythm. He loved that. For a man who thrived on control, who guarded his timing with precision, Lucy represented the one thing he secretly craved on live television: unpredictability. In commercial breaks, while most guests sat quietly, come to use the stage, he came to play the game. On air, the energy was undeniable. Carson would ask about the tour, about Hollywood, about politics, and Hope would glide straight into a punchline. If the setup was light, he'd spike it with an unexpected jab. If Johnny leaned serious, Hope would twist it into a laugh that kept the audience in his palm. Johnny's eyes always gave him away, a mischievous flicker, a grin that said, there it is. He didn't try to top Hope. He didn't need to. He just fed the next pitch and enjoyed the sparring match. What Johnny valued most was Hope's balance. His humor was sharp, but never cruel. Turned silence into the loudest punchline in television history. When Ella Fitzgerald sang on The Tonight Show, the entire room changed. The audience leaned forward, the band tightened its focus, and Johnny Carson, usually quick with together, laughter that didn't need to be explained or censored. Backstage, Hope extended the same courtesy to everyone. He remembered names. He shook hands with the prop guy. He told the stage manager a joke like he was tipping him for a job well done. Johnny noticed those details. For him, a guest wasn't only judged by the laughs they delivered, but by how they treated the crew. And Hope, every time, passed that test. When the segment ended, there was no sentimentality, no long embraces, just the nod of two craftsmen who had landed the plane. As the band played him off, Johnny would glance at Bob with a quiet admiration reserved for equals. For Carson, those nights with Bob Hope were the closest television ever came to feeling like a sport, but for the sheer love of the work. Two men in their prime trading blows, not for glory. When Jack Benny appeared on The Tonight Show, he didn't rush onto the stage. He drifted